Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 873 of our trek, and time for our Philosophy Friday series. Each Friday, we will ponder some of the basic truths and mysteries of life and how they can impact us in creating our living legacy. As we continue on this trek that we call life, sometimes we have questions about life. So our Friday trek is a time where we can ask Gramps. Gramps will answer the questions that you may like to ask your dad or granddad, but for whatever reason, this is not possible. No matter how old we are, I know that all of us would like to go back and have the opportunity to ask Dad or Gramps questions about life in many areas. We will address areas such as finances, relationships, health and fitness, business and work, home repairs and renovations, seasons of life, spiritual and biblical questions, and any other areas that come our way. As your fellow sojourner and mentor on this trek that we call life, it is Gramps' goal to provide you with practical wisdom and advice about any area of life. It is crucial that I receive a constant flow of questions, so please submit your questions to Guthrie@wisdom-trek.com, and Gramps will answer your questions on our Friday podcast. We are broadcasting from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. This week we will continue our answer of last week's question. Spring and summer gives us extra opportunities to get outside and exercise more, and there are many more opportunities to buy healthy, locally grown produce. It is a great time to begin new habits of eating healthy and exercise. So our repeated question for today is, Hey Gramps, I have a difficult time avoiding junk food. Even though I know I should make better food choices, I so often fall back into the habit of gorging myself with food that is unhealthy and causes me to gain weight. How can I change? So the title for today is Kick Junk Food and Eat Healthy. This is somewhat of a complex question, so that is why I split it into two responses. Last week we explored why we crave junk food, and this week we will explore how you can change your eating habits. Check out wisdom-trek.com/day 868 to listen to the first part of my answer. Like last week, I want to ask you a question before we dive in. Do you really desire to change? No amount of scientific proof or logic will cause you to change unless you accept responsibility for yourself and choose to change your eating habits. The good news is that my research shows that the less junk food you eat, the less you'll crave it. My own experiences have mirrored this. Over the many years that I have eaten healthier, I noticed myself wanting pizza and candy and ice cream less and less. Some people refer this transition period as gene reprogramming. Whatever you call it, the lesson is the same. If you can find ways to gradually eat healthier, you'll start experiencing the cravings for junk food less and less. I have never claimed to have all the answers, but here are 3 strategies that might help you. The first one is, use the outer ring strategy and the 5-ingredient rule to buy healthier food. The best course of action is to avoid buying processed and packaged foods. If you don't buy it when you're out and don't have it in your home, you can't eat it. Furthermore, if you don't think about it, you can't be lured by it. We talked about the power of junk food to pull you in on how memories of tasty food in the past can cause you to crave more of it in the future. Obviously, you can't prevent yourself from even thinking about junk food, but there are ways to reduce your cravings. First, you can use the outer ring strategy to avoid processed and packaged foods at the grocery store. If you limit yourself to purchasing most of the foods in the outer ring of the store, then you will generally buy whole foods such as fruit and vegetables, meats, eggs, etc. Not everything in the outer ring is healthy, but you will avoid a lot of unhealthy foods. You can also follow the 5 ingredients rules. When buying foods at the store, if something has more than 5 ingredients in it, just don't buy it. Odds are, it has been designed to fool you into eating more of it. Avoid those products and stick with the more natural options. Number 2, eat a variety of food. As we covered last week, the brain craves novelty. While you may not be able to replicate the crunchy, creamy contrast of an Oreo, you can vary your diet enough to keep things interesting. For example, you can dip a carrot, which is crunchy, in hummus, which is creamy, and get a novel sensation. Another example is when you crave that salty crunch of a potato chip, replace it with roasted salted almonds. They have the crunch and the salt. Just don't overdo it. You will feel fuller much quicker with nuts than you will with chips. In the same manner, finding ways to add new spices and flavors to your dishes can make eating healthy foods a much more desirable experience. I do this a lot when I cook in the evenings. The moral to the story in this point is, eating healthy doesn't have to be bland. Mix up your foods to get different sensations, and you may find it easier than eating the same foods over and over again. At some point, however, you may just need to choose healthy foods because they are healthy. And the third point is, find a better way to deal with your stress. There's a reason why many people eat as a way to cope with stress. Stress causes certain regions in your brain to release chemicals, specifically opiates and neuropeptides. These chemicals can trigger mechanisms that are similar to the cravings you get from fat and sugar. In other words, when you get stressed, your brain feels that addictive call for fat and sugar, and you're pulled back into eating junk food. We all have stressful situations that arise in our lives. Learning to deal with stress differently can help you to overcome that addictive pull of junk food. This could include prayer and meditation, study of the scriptures, more physical exercise, and a relaxing hobby. Well, that'll wrap up my two-part question. I trust that last week and this week will answer your questions about kicking the junk food habit and replacing it with a habit of eating healthier and exercise. If you have any questions that you would like answered, please email them to guthrie@wisdom-trek.com, and Gramps will answer them on our Friday podcast with wisdom and philosophy that Gramps has gained over the many years of experience and study. I know that you'll find these insights interesting and profitable in living a rich and satisfying life. Our next trek will be Meditation Monday, where we will help you to reflect on those most important areas of life. So encourage your friends and family to join us and then come along with us on Monday for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 872 daily treks or read the associated journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. I encourage you to subscribe to Apple Podcast or Google Play so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you on Monday.